of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals thereof. He has come and put in motion so that the events leading to the coming of the kingdom of God can now take place. Go ahead. Verse number 6.
And I beheld, and lo, in the midst of the throne and of the 4 beasts, and in the midst of the elders stood a lamb as it had been slain, having 7 horns and 7 eyes, which are the 7 spirits of God sent forth into all the earth.
Again, this is Jesus sitting amidst the angels and the 24 elders. Verse number 7, go ahead.
And he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne.
Again, that's when he had fulfilled what was written in the book to bring us to this point. He said he came and took the book out of the right hand of him that sat upon the throne. Go ahead.
And when he had taken the book, the 4 beasts and 4 and 20 elders fell down before the Lamb, having every one of them harps and golden bowls full of odors, which are the prayers of saints.
Again, this is just representing those that's going to be worshiping God, those that come up in the first resurrection. And what did they say? Go ahead.
And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof.
And why was that?
For thou wast slain.
Again, he came and he died for the sins of the world. He came and did the will of the Father. And because he did that, now God's plan of salvation can come to fruition. They sung a new song saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seal. In other words, what he did now enabled the rest of God's plan of salvation to be put into motion. He said, But thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation. Read verse number 10. Go ahead.
And has made us unto our God kings and priests, and he shall reign on the earth.
As Daniel said, the kingdom was given unto the saints, did it not? Go right into the 6th chapter of Revelation. Because Jesus came, and because he offered up himself as a human sacrifice, because he did the will of the Father. Now the other events leading to the coming of his kingdom can now take place. And John is going to tell us about those events. Before Jesus can establish his kingdom, the sequence of events is you're going to have the great tribulation, and then you're going to have the day of the Lord. A day of gloom and darkness, destruction and wastefulness. A day of wailing and bitter cry. Revelation 6. We're going to put it up at verse number 1. Because it began with the great tribulation, because that precedes the day of the Lord. 6 and 1. This is the opening of the first seal. Go ahead.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder. One of the 4 beasts saying, Come and see.
What did he see? Go ahead.
I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
Now this is not referencing Jesus. This is referencing the one that is impersonating the Lord. This is referencing the one that is sitting over there in Rome, who has a crown. He wears a crown, and on his crown he has a title, Vicar of Christ, or the replacer of Christ. So this is the Antichrist. Go ahead. Verse number. It says his crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer. Because we're going to find out that he's going to have arms on his side. Verse number 3. Go ahead.
When he had opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd beast say, Come and see.
Go ahead. What did he say?
There went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth.
Go ahead.
And that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
Now he's going to cause much desolation on the earth. He's going to cause much destruction. This one again who is impersonating the Christ. Verse number 5. Go ahead.
And when he had opened the 3rd seal, I heard the 3rd beast say, Come and see.
Go ahead.
And I beheld a Lord black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou heard not the oil and the wine.
Because he's going to have control of the economy. You won't be able to buy or sell if you don't take this mark, or what they call the mark of the beast, which shows your alliance with this false system of worship. This is all taking place under the time known as the Great Tribulation. Verse number 7. This is the opening of the 4th seal. Go ahead.
And when he had opened the 4th seal, I heard the voice of the 4th beast say, come and see.
And what did he say? Go
I
ahead.
looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on it was Death. Hell followed with him. Power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth.
Well, part of the earth, he's going to have complete control. That's going to be over in Europe, where the seat of his power is. He said, and power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth to do what?
To kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth.
According to his own discretion, again, he's going to have complete control. The opening of the 5th seal. Go ahead.
And when he had opened the 5th seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God, for the testimony which they held. So
they were killed for the word of God. They were killed for the belief that they had. Again, this is during the time of the Great Tribulation. Go ahead. Verse number 11. Again, remember. Verse number 10. Go ahead.
And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood and them that dwell on the earth?
Again, we know dead men don't cry out. This is the vision. This is similar when the Lord said unto Cain that he heard the blood of Abel cry out unto him. He said they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? What took place? Verse number 11. Go ahead.
White robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them,
what?
They should rest yet for a little season.
Just a little bit longer. Again, this is during the time of the Great Tribulation. And it's getting ready to come to an end. He said that white robes were given unto every one of them, and it was said unto them that they should rest yet for a little season until what?
Until their fellow servants also and their brethren that they should be killed as they were should be fulfilled.
So the killing of God's servants are going to continue during this time. What's known as the Great Tribulation. The opening of the 6th season. And we're going to see there's going to be a great disturbance in the heavens. Go ahead.
And I beheld when he had opened the 6th seal. Lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. This is only going to happen one time. And whenever you read about this event, know that it's talking about the same time all over the Bible. This is talking about, this is signaling that now God is getting ready to intervene into the affairs of man. Man has been killed. And now God is getting ready to intervene. He said he opened the 6th seal. He said, when he opened the 6th seal, he said there was a great earthquake. The sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. Verse number 13. Go ahead. What else took place? And the stars of heaven fell into the earth. Even as a thief, she casteth her untimely feet.
Go ahead.
When she is shaken of a mighty wind. And heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together.
The reason being, because it's making way for the coming of the Lord. He said that heaven departed as a scroll when it's rolled together, and what?
And every mountain and island were moved out of their place.
And after this, what took place? Go ahead.
And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man.
What did they do?
Hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains.
Did not Zephaniah say that the mighty man was going to cry bitterly? He said the kings of the earth and the great men, the rich men and chief captains, the mighty men, every bondman, and every free man. They hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. And what were they hiding from? Go ahead.
Says in the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sitteth on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb.
They're going to know that God is real at this time. but they still not going to have sense enough to just turn and repent. They're going to tell the mountains and the rocks to fall on us. In other words, hide us in the dust of the ground. I'd rather be dead than to deal with this. What time is it? Verse number 17. Go ahead.
The great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand?
This is the day of the Lord. And it's going to come with the opening of the seventh seal. But now turn over to Isaiah, the 13th chapter, because Isaiah reminds us as to why God is going to bring all this destruction on the world. Isaiah 13. And pick it up at verse number 6. Isaiah 13 and 6. What does he say?
Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand.
Uh-huh.
Shall come as a destruction from the Almighty.
Go ahead.
Therefore shall our hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt.
Everybody's going to be weak with fear. He said, but you have, because this is the time of God's wrath. He said, therefore all hands are going to be faint, and every man's heart is just going to melt. Again, be weak with fear. Verse number 8, go ahead.
And shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them.
Uh-huh.
They shall be in pain as a woman that travails.
Again, they talk about the pain that a woman has in childbirth. They say it's like no other pain that there is on this earth. But the pain that they're going to have at this time, they say they liken it to being like a woman in childbirth. Uncontrollable, unconsolable. They shall be amazed one at another. Say their faces shall be as flames. And again, what time is this? Go ahead, verse number 9.
Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger.
And what is he going to do?
Lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it.
Again, God is going to pour out his wrath on man because of their refusal to obey him. And he gives you the sign to signify when this takes place. The same sign that John gave. Go ahead.
For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light.
What about the sun and the moon? Go ahead.
The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine.
Again, there's not going to be another time like this. This is only going to take place one time, right before the day of the Lord. You're going to have this great disturbance in the heavens. Again, he's going to reiterate why he's doing this to man. Go ahead.
And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity.
And what?
I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible.
Listen to what he says going to be the condition of man when he gets through with them. Go ahead.
I will make a man more precious than fine gold,
Uh-huh.
and a man in the golden wedge of oak.
Men will be so few. He said, I'm going to make them more precious. He said, in fine gold. He said, even a man in the golden wedge of Ophir. Not just gold that's on this earth. The gold that comes from the place that is mined in Ophir. He's telling you how much killing he's going to do. Verse number 13. Go ahead.
Therefore I will shake the heaven, and the earth shall remove out of her place. Wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger.
Again, during the day of the Lord, he said the earth is going to read to and fro like a drum. And it's going to fall. And it's not going to be rebuilt. He said, and when is this going to be? In the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Turn to Matthew, the 24th chapter. Because Jesus is going to confirm what we've been reading. He's going to give us the same sequence of events when asked about his return that John did. He tells us about the great tribulation. Then he gives us the sign signaling again the ushering in of the day of the Lord. Matthew 3. We're going to pick it up at Matthew 24. Pick it up at verse number 3. 24 and 3. Because they're going to ask Jesus about his coming and the end of the world. I always say the end of the world as we know it. Because this world is going to continue it will just never, like my son say, it will never be the same. This is going to be the end of man's rule. 24:3, go ahead.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be?
Go ahead.
What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Because he had been telling them about the destruction of the temple. And they want to know when that was going to come about. They also want to know what was going to be the sign of the coming of the end of the world. What was going to be the sign of his coming and of the ends of the world. When he's going to establish his kingdom. What was the thing that Jesus told them? Go ahead, verse 4.
And Jesus answered and said unto them,
Go ahead.
Take heed that no man deceive.
They want to know about his coming. They want to know about the end of the world. And what he told me, he said, take heed that no man deceive you. Nobody. I mean, literally nobody in the scheme of things. Nobody listened to what Jesus said. They profess to believe in the Lord. They profess to believe in Jesus. Yet still you have millions of copies of some garbage called the rapture being sold. How God is going to come back and take his church off to heaven so that they don't have to undergo all of this destruction that's going to come on the earth. They call it, they even make movies call it Left Behind. They're going to be left behind. It's going to be right here on this earth. Right in the fire. Because there's no excuse for the ignorance that we display when it comes to the worshiping of the God that we say we love as a people, as a whole. Nowhere can you find in this Bible that the Lord is talking about taking anybody off to heaven. All I can read about, and all I will read about in the remainder of this lesson, is about the destruction that God's going to pour out on this man. And he said, don't let nobody deceive you. Because what's going to happen? Verse number 5.
But many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ,
and do what?
And shall deceive.
And that's what they've done. You've had those individuals who claim to be the Christ and have led people astray. Although small in number, they've destroyed many. How can you be the Christ and you born in Chicago? Did not Jesus or the Christ have to be born in Bethlehem and born of a virgin? But the deception that he's truly talking about is not those that's going to claim to be him. It is those that's going to come preaching in his name, but they're not going to bring his doctrine. It is those that stand up every Sunday across this land proclaiming to be God's messenger, deliverer, minister, priest, prophet, bishop, say whatever, evangelist, whatever you want to call them. But they're not telling the people the truth when it comes to the word of God. I mean absolutely nothing. The very thing that people need to avoid this, the very thing that they need for salvation, is to be obedient unto God. And they teach that the commandments of God have been done away with. When the man asked Jesus, what must I do to inherit eternal life? What did Jesus tell him? He said, keep the commandments. Yet still, you have people believing that all they got to do is just call on the Lord. Or say they believe and they're going to be saved. God loves everybody. All I'm reading about here is some wrath that's going to be poured out on this world. And when you look at the killing that, I'm not talking about the killing that man's going to do. I'm talking about the killing that the Lord is going to do. You're going to find out, you're going to see clearly God is not in love with everybody. He said, don't let nobody deceive you. And then he gave them a sign that signifies his coming. 24 and 15. What was that? Go ahead.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place.
What he said.
Whoso readeth, let him understand.
Because he ain't talking about all the things that go on in life that we witness. The wars and the rumors of war, the earthquakes and pestilence in diverse places. He said, don't concern yourself with that. Sorrow not, because the end is not yet. But then he gave this concrete sign. He said, when you see the abomination of desolation spoken up by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, he said, whoso readeth, let him understand. But in order to do that, see, you can't do away with the Old Testament. Jesus himself is referring you to the Old Testament. And people now have Bibles that only contain the New Testament. But he said, you better find out what Daniel was talking about. And what he's talking about is you're going to have this religious leader. Paul calls him, here he refers, Jesus refers to him as the abomination of desolation. Paul refers to him as the son of tradition. Pardon me? Did I say that? Sorry. The son of tradition. Paul refers to him as the son of perdition, the man of sin. And he's going to sit in the temple of God, proclaiming to be God. As I said, he's already doing that. One of his titles is Vicar of Christ, or the replacer of Christ. How can you replace Christ? He said, but when you see this, take place, when he stands in the temple of God, that means the temple must be built over there in Jerusalem. And that's going to take place. And then you're going to have this abominable man. He's abominable unto the Lord. And he's going to bring about much desolation. That's the one that was sitting on the white horse with the crown that went out to conquer. Then what's to take place when you see this? Go ahead.
Well,
Verse 16.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains.
He tells you, you have to get away in haste, because what this is going to bring in what's known as the Great Tribulation. Because before you can have before you can have God's establishing his kingdom, you have the Great Tribulation, then you have the day of the Lord. Drop down to verse number 21. Go ahead.
Then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, ever shall be.
Again, and that starts when this individual moves into, he's going to take up residency in the temple and claim to be God. And because of the powers that he's going to have, he's going to make witchcraft prosper in his hand. He's going to be able to do those things that people can classify as miracles, and because they don't know, they're going to say he must be God. He can command light. He can command lightning to appear. He's going to make a statue come to life. He has to. Who else can this be but God? He's the one that Jesus warned us about, and Paul warned us about, and Daniel warned us about, but nobody pays any attention. He's got over 1 billion followers right now. He said, but that's going to usher in what's known as the Great Tribulation. A time such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, ever shall be. Verse number 22. And then what's going to happen? Go ahead. What is the Lord going to do?
And it said those days should be short. There should no flesh be saved.
Go ahead.
But for the elect's sake, those days shall be short.
Notice what it didn't say. Except God rapture his people off to heaven, none of them will be delivered. Because this time going to be a time. Man is going to be on the verge of World War III. And the only thing that's going to stop man from completely annihilating himself and eliminating life on this entire planet is because God is going to intervene in the affairs of man. The Lord is going to come. And it is the coming of the Lord that's going to put an end to man's madness. When Jesus said this, man did not have the weapons to destroy the world. Now, they can destroy the world. That shows you the madness of man. You only need to be able to destroy it one time. They can destroy it 1,000 times over. That's just like the foolishness of man. When they want to threaten you, like, man, I will kill you, wake you up, and kill you again. Now, God can do that. You only get one time. Drop down to verse number 29. And go ahead, because they asked him, when is he coming? Now he's going to give them a sign. The same sign we've been reading about. Go ahead.
Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be dark.
Go ahead.
The moon shall not give her light. The stars shall fall from heaven. The powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
So you're going to have a great disturbance. John told us about it. Isaiah told us about it. Here the Lord is telling us about that same time. He said, now the great tribulation, he said, it's over. He said, immediately after you're going to have the disturbance in the heavens. And then what's going to happen? Verse number 30. Go ahead.
And shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven.
That's when the sky also is going to roll back like a scroll, making a way for the coming of the Lord. He's not back yet. He's just going to be sitting there looking at this man. Go ahead.
Then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn.
Uh-huh.
And shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
See, the day of the Lord starts before the Lord actually gets here. That's why I said when the sun is dark and the moon's not going to give a light, the stars going to fall from the heavens. That took place under the opening of the sixth seal. He said the powers of the heavens were shaken. He said, then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth are going to mourn, because the Lord is going to be afflicted man before he gets here. He said the Son, then he's going to see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Even by Jesus' own admission himself. His ministers will sit there and say, see, Jesus can come back at any time. He can come back before I finish this sermon. That man is a bald-faced fabricator. He looked at me, so I had to make sure I said it right. Verse 31, what he said.
And he shall send his angels with a great sound of the trumpet.
Uh-huh.
He shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
And again, that's talking about him gathering his people in Israel. Then you go back in 1948, not going back home until even Jesus himself said they were going to be led away captive and will be there until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Turn over to Revelation, the 8th chapter. We're going to look at what takes place with the opening of the seventh seal. Because the opening of the sixth seal, you had the great disturbance in the heaven. The sun was darkened and the moon didn't give her light. The stars fell from the heaven. Because it is the events that take place after the opening of the seventh seal that make up the day of the Lord. Revelation 8. Now man has been killing, God serves, inflicting one another. And again, they're going to be on the verge of World War III. And now God is getting ready to intervene into the affairs of man. He's getting ready to plague this man. And what the Lord is going to do, he's going to have 7 angels with 7 trumpets announcing, pouring out of his wrath. Just like he plagued the Egyptians back during the days of Pharaoh, he's going to plague man. Not just Egypt, but all of the nations. Revelation 8:1. Go ahead when you get there.
And when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of half an hour.
And I say silence in awe, because they know what is getting ready to take place. Go ahead.
And I saw the seven angels who stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets.
Drop down to verse number 6 and go ahead.
And the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound.
Now you can read in Revelation the 15th chapter, because just like you had the seven angels with seven trumpets, there were seven more angels with seven vials of wrath. And each time an angel sounded, the corresponding angel poured out God's wrath on man. So now God is getting ready to afflict man. But before he does that, because his servants have been abused, the Lord is going to make sure, even though this is going to be a terrible time, God's servants won't have to fear the wrath of the Lord. That's why I read what I did in Isaiah the 13th chapter. He's coming to destroy those who refuse to obey him. But unfortunately, that's the majority of man. But he's not going to harm his servants, just like during the days of Pharaoh. As long as Israel was obedient unto the Lord, then the Lord didn't harm them. The plagues didn't impact them. 7 and 1. Go ahead.
And after these things, I saw four angels standing on the four corners of the earth,
Go ahead.
holding the four winds of the earth. The wind should not blow on the earth, nor
Go ahead.
on the sea, nor on any tree.
Again, God's not going to let anything happen until he makes sure that his servants are prepared, that they've been sealed, that none of his wrath is going to be poured out on them. Go ahead.
And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. He cried with a loud voice to the four angels, to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea.
He said, I heard the earth and the sea. When he say hurt the earth and the sea, he's talking about the people. But go ahead.
Saying, hurt it out the earth,
You what?
not into the sea,
Until when?
nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their foreheads.
So now this is at the end of the great tribulation. Now God is getting ready to afflict man. He said, don't hurt the earth, neither the sea nor the trees. He said, till we seal the servants of our God in their forehead. Go ahead.
And I heard the number of them which were sealed. And there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel.
It began with Israel. He is the God of Israel, but he's the God of all people. Drop down to verse, but it begins with Israel. Drop down to verse number 10. Go ahead. I'm sorry, verse number 9.
After this I beheld and lo, a great multitude, no man can number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb,
Go ahead.
clothed with white robes and palms in their hands.
And again, just to show you that God is not a respecter of person, it begins with Israel. Israel is God's chosen people. They were chosen to be his priests. They were supposed to teach the rest of the sons of Adam how to serve the true and living God. And as long as people adopt what was given unto Israel, then they become spiritual Israel, and they become a part of God's church. He started with sealing Israel. But then he said, after this, I beheld the Lord, great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people and tongues, stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. Go ahead.
And cried with a loud voice, saying, salvation to our God, which sitteth upon the throne and to the Lamb.
And again, God's plan of salvation will come to fruition, but we got to go through all this. You had to have Jesus. He had to come and die for the sins of man, which sets the stage for the other events to take place, mainly the Great Tribulation and the Day of the Lord. And then you'll have the establishing of God's kingdom. But turn over to Revelation, the 16th chapter, because the Lord had his servants sealed, and now he's going to start pouring out his wrath. Remember, he had 7 angels with 7 trumpets, and 7 angels with 7 vials of wrath. When the angel blew the trumpets, the other corresponding angel poured out his vial of wrath. We're going to see the wrath of God being poured out. Starting in Revelation 16:1. 16:1. This is the day of the Lord. Go ahead.
And I heard a great voice out of the temple saying to the seven angels, Go your ways and pour out the vials of the wrath of God upon the earth.
So the first angel would have sounded his trumpet. And what took place in verse number 2? Go ahead.
And the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth.
And what happened?
There fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image.
So the first ones that were tormented were the ones that took this mark. He said the first angel went out and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and which had worshipped his image. The Lord has afflicted them now. He's going to afflict them later with fire and brimstone. He tells you that in Revelation, the 14th chapter. But then the second angel sounded his trumpets. And then what the corresponding angel do in verse number 3. Go ahead.
The second angel poured out his vial upon the sea. And it became as the blood of a dead man, and every living soul died in the sea.
If you read when the angel blew his trumpet, you know that a third part of the ships of the sea were destroyed. But verse number 4, because then the third angel blew his trumpet. And what took place? Go ahead.
And the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters.
And what?
They became blood.
So the waters were impacted. Man already has a problem with being able to find enough water just to sustain himself, water to drink. He said the third angel poured out his vial upon the rivers and fountains of waters, and they became blood. Go ahead.
And I heard the angel of the waters say, Thou art righteous, O Lord.
Go ahead.
Which art and wast and shalt be, because thou hast to judge thus.
Go ahead.
For they have shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou hast given them blood to drink, for they are worthy. God
is a righteous God, and the judgment that he's going to impose on man are righteous judgments. He heard the angel say, You righteous, Lord, which art and was and shall be, because you judged thus righteously. But they shed the blood of saints and prophets, and thou was giving them blood to drink. He said, and for they are worthy. Go ahead.
And I heard another out of the altar say, Even so, Lord God Almighty, true and righteous are thy judgments.
So God is going to continue with his afflicting of man. So the fourth angel would have blown his trumpet, and then what took place? Verse number 8. Go ahead.
The fourth angel poured out his vial upon the sun. Fire was given unto him to scorch men with fire.
Go ahead.
And men were scorched with great heat.
And did what?
And blasphemed the name of God.
Go ahead.
Had power over these plagues, and they repented not to give him glory.
Just like Pharaoh refused to acknowledge God. Turn over to Revelation, the 9th chapter, because we're going to look at the blowing of the 5th trumpet and see what takes place. And here we find that man is preparing for war. Revelation 9. Pick it up at verse number 1. 9:1. You go ahead when you get there.
And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth. To him was given the key of the bottomless pit.
Go ahead.
And he opened the bottomless pit. There arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. The sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit.
So we're looking at now almost the start of World War III. This is going to be close to the end of the tribulation. He said he saw the 5th angel sounded his trumpet. He saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit, and that was none other than Satan. And the pit that he's talking about, the bottomless pit, is just obscurity. And what he is doing, he's gathering his arms. He opened the bottom of the pit, and there rose the smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. This is simply the revived Roman Empire. What came out? Verse number 3. Go ahead.
They came out of the smoke, locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power.
So they're going forth to destroy. And remember, John is being shown these things, so he's describing them in terms in which he can relate to. Because locusts destroyed whatever's in their path. He said they came out of the smoke, locusts upon the earth, and to them was given power as the scorpions of the earth have power to kill and destroy. Verse number 4, go ahead.
And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth,
neither what?
neither any green thing, neither any tree.
So what they're talking about here is just chemical warfare. But go ahead.
But only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads.
Go ahead.
And to them it was given that they should not kill,
Uh-huh.
but that they should be tormented 5 months.
What they wanted to do is they just wanted to bring the other people into subjection under their rule. It said, and to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented for 5 months. He said, and their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh the man. Now remember, the sky had rolled back, and God is sitting there looking, watching this man. Go ahead.
And in those days shall men seek death,
Uh-huh.
and shall not find, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them.
Think of the state you have to be in. That you would rather find yourself dead than dealing with the conditions that's around you. It said, in those days shall man seek death and shall not find. They shall desire to die. It said, and death shall flee from them. Drop down to verse number 11 and go ahead.
And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit.
Go ahead.
His name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon.
Uh-huh.
But in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon.
Again, both of them mean destroy. And that's just referred to none other than Satan. And again, this is the revived Roman Empire. Now God is getting ready to assemble his army. Pick it up at verse number. I tell you what, read verse 12. Go ahead.
One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 woes more hereafter.
Just like during the days of Pharaoh, the plagues got worse and worse. Ultimately, it ended with God himself. God does not change. It's going to be the case now. But first, he's going to bring or assemble his army. 13, go ahead.
And the 6th angel sounded.
Uh-huh.
I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God.
Again, this is God assembling his army. Go ahead.
And to the 6th angel which had the trumpet,
Go ahead.
loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates.
And the river Euphrates, which runs through Turkey, it would separate West and Eastern Europe. He said, say to the 6 angels that had the trumpet, loose the 4 angels, which are bound in the great river Euphrates. Go ahead.
And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the 3rd part of men.
Now understand, when you said 3rd part of man, it's over 7 billion people in the world. So you talk about the death of over 2 billion people. Go ahead.
And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them.
So you talk about a 200 million man army. And what this is Russia and her allies, China, North Korea, India, Japan, all of them are going to come against the West. And they're going to be on again, on the verge of World War III. Verse number 17, go ahead.
And thus I saw the horses in the vision, them that sat on them having breastplates of fire, and of chasing, and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, Out of their mouths issue fire and smoke and brimstone.
So John again is describing to the best of his ability, just war equipped. Verse number 18. Go ahead.
By these three were the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths.
They're going to be destroying everything that is in sight. Turn to Revelation, the 16th chapter. Because the Lord had the river Euphrates dried up to make the way for the kings of the east to come across. And they're going to attack the west. 16, pick it up at verse number 12. 16 and 12. Go ahead.
And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates. The water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared.
This 200 million man army, again comprised of Russia and China, India, and their allies. Even today, you can read how Russia and China are involved in war maneuvers. But go ahead.
And I saw three unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophet.
And then again, this is just 7. And what he's talking about is just words that will promote war. He said, I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, out of the mouth of the beast, and out of the mouth of the false prophets. Again, words that will promote war. Go ahead.
For they are the spirits of death, working miracles, which go forth unto the kings of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty.
Again, God is behind this. He is the one that is orchestrating this. Go ahead.
Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and ain't see his shame.
In other words, he said you gotta stay focused and don't get caught up in the cares of this world. He said, I come as a thief only to those who are unaware. God is not sneaking up on anybody. He's making his announcement. He's coming clearly. He's telling you everything that's going to take place before he comes. But yet and still, people are going to be caught unaware because they're looking for a rapture. They're looking to be carted off to heaven. God is coming here to destroy this earth. He said, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments. At least he walk naked and they see his shame. Verse number 16, go ahead.
And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon.
Again. Now they're getting ready. They coming together thinking they're going to fight one another. That's the east and the west. And they're going to meet up with God. He said he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon or Megiddo, the valley of Jezreel. So what? Right outside of Jerusalem. So why is the east and the west go meet there? Turn it down. The 11th chapter. And he tells us how they ended up there. These forces. Daniel, the 11th chapter. The Lord said he had gathered them, and we're going to see what took place when this 200 million man army came across the river Euphrates. But first we're going to find out why is it that they met up outside of Jerusalem. 11, and pick it up at verse number 31. Because Jesus said, when you see the abomination, the desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. As I said, you're going to have this religious leader that's in Rome. He's going to go and take up residency over in the temple that's going to be built in Jerusalem. And it told you, John told you that he had a crown and a bow, and he went out conquering. So the West is going to start taking over parts of what's known as the Middle East. And so then Russia is going to go deal with it. 11 and 31. Go ahead. What do you say?
And arm shall stand on his part. They shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, shall take away the daily sacrifice. They shall place the abomination that maketh the desolate.
Now this happened in history when this one called Antiochus Epiphanes, he sacrificed a pig on the altar. But it's going to happen all over again. They're going to build a temple there in Jerusalem. And then this so-called religious man is going to go, because they're going to start sacrificing all over again. And he's going to cause them to stop sacrificing, and then he's going to take up residency in the temple, in the house of God, and then he's going to proclaim to be God. Pick it up at verse number 36 and go ahead.
And the king shall do according to his will. And he shall exalt himself and magnify himself above all every God.
Again, he be claiming to be God. Go ahead.
Shall speak marvelous things against the God of God. Shall prosper till the indignation be accomplished. For that is determined shall be done.
Go ahead.
Neither shall he regard the God of his fathers.
Because he's full of pride. Again, you have to be prideful to think that you could replace God. He said, neither shall he regard the God of his father, nor the desire of women, nor regard any God. But he shall magnify himself above all. And again, to find out where he's headed. Drop down to verse number 41. Go ahead.
He shall enter also into the glorious land.
I'll say, pick it up at verse number 4. Because again, he's come and gone. Go ahead.
And at the time of the end shall the king of the south push at him.
Talking about Egypt. Go ahead.
King of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind.
That's the European Union. Go ahead.
With chariots and with horsemen and with many ships. He shall enter into the countries and shall overflow and pass over.
Where is he headed?
He shall enter also into the glorious land.
Go ahead.
Any country shall be overthrown.
He
shall escape out of his hand, even Edom and Moab and the chief of the children of Ammon.
And it doesn't hurt that you got the richest oil reserve over there. But go ahead.
He shall stretch forth his hand also upon the countries.
And what about Egypt?
The land of Egypt shall not escape.
Go ahead.
He shall have power over the treasures of gold and of silver and over all the precious things of Egypt. And the Libyans and the Ethiopians shall be at his steps.
Now, mind you, they're in the camp of Russia and her allies. But go ahead, verse number 44.
But tidings out of the east and out of the north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go forth with great fury to destroy and utterly to make a way net.
Go ahead.
He shall plant the tabernacles of his palace between the seas in the glorious holy mountain.
Talking about Jerusalem. Go ahead.
He shall come to his end, and none shall help him.
So he's going to take up residence in God's temple. And that's why when the river Euphrates was dried up to make way for the kings of the east to come across, they're headed towards Jerusalem. It says now, he's going to have power over the treasures of gold and silver, over the precious things of Egypt, and the Libyans and Ethiopians shall be at his steps. He said, but tidings out of the east and out of the north are going to trouble him. As far north as you can go, and east is none other than Russia. Turn over to Joel. And we're going to look at this trouble. Joel, the 2nd chapter. Because Joel told us, the Lord had Joel to tell us of all of the destruction that his arm is going to cause. 2, and pick it up at verse number 1. Joel 2 and 1. Go ahead when you get there.
Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain.
Go ahead.
Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of the Lord cometh, for it is nigh at hand.
He said, now you blow the trumpet in Zion, in Jerusalem, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants, let all the people tremble. He said, for the day of the Lord cometh, and it is nigh at hand. The 6th trumpet has been blown, but go ahead.
A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness.
A day of wrath and destruction, a day of wailing. Go ahead.
As the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong.
Again, you talking about 200 million men, Russia and her allies. Go ahead.
There have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more hereafter it.
He said, as long as men live, there'll never be an army this size. Go ahead.
Even to the years of many generations.
Go ahead.
Fire devoured before them, and behind them a flame burning.
Go ahead.
Land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them.
They're destroying everything in sight. Remember, they're going to destroy, they're going to kill the third part of man. Go ahead.
The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run.
Like horses rushing into battle. Go ahead.
Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap. Like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle over.
And how the people going to react to all this? Go ahead.
For their face the people shall be much pain. All faces shall gather black.
They're going to be terrorized. Go ahead.
They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb in the wall like men of war. And they shall march every one on his ways. And they shall not break their ranks.
They're going to just be, it's so many of them. Seem like they're everywhere. Go ahead.
Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk every one in his path. And when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded.
Not that they can't be killed, but there's so many of them. You kill one, it's going to be one that'll take his place. You're talking about 200 million men. All with one idea, one objective, and that is to kill. He said, neither shall one thrust another, they shall walk every one in his path, and when they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Go ahead.
They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief.
Again, they seem like they're going to be everywhere. This, mind you, this country only has a little over 200 and some million people. You're talking about a 200 million man army. Who can contend with that? Go ahead, verse number 10.
The earth shall quake before them, and it shall tremble.
And what's the sign that he gives to signify what time it is? Go ahead.
The heavens shall tremble, the sun and the moon shall be dark, and the stars shall withdraw their shine.
Go ahead.
The Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great.
This is God's army. Remember, he said he was orchestrating this. He brought them down unto Armageddon. Because again, they're on the verge of World War III. The East is there to fight the West, and they're going to end up meeting God. He said, the Lord shall utter his voice before his arm, for his camp is great. But he is strong, talking about Russia, that executed his word. For the day of the Lord is great and terrible. And notice what he said. He said, and who can abide? But God can deliver his. Turn over to Revelation 11th chapter. Because we're going to look at the last plague. Because you got the east and the west down outside of Jerusalem. And man is getting ready to be again on the verge of World War III. Man is getting ready to be on the verge of annihilating man. Because didn't Jesus say, except those days be short, no flesh should be saved? Because man has a nuclear weapon to destroy this world. And nations are just like individuals. Somebody get in a fight, it get hard and heavy. Hey, whatever means necessary. And people say, well, what about, nobody talks about the United States and prophecy. Look here, their cousins gonna be down there. What happened? They answer their uncles. If your family get into a fight and they say, you know so-and-so fight, what's gonna happen? You're gonna run into them. But 11 and verse number 15, this is the sounding of the seventh trump. Go ahead.
And the seventh angel sounded, and there were great voices in the heavens saying, Kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he shall reign forever and ever.
God is in charge now, but we're going to find out. See, John simply said, the seventh angel sounded. There were great voices in heaven saying the kingdoms of this world have become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his Christ, and he going to reign forever and ever. No, the day of the Lord ain't over just yet. We're going to go back and deal with the armies that's in the valley of Jezreel. But the seventh angel sounded, and that announced the coming of the Lord himself. He is the last place. Jump down to verse number 18. Go ahead.
And the nations were angry, and our wrath is come. The time of the dead, that they should be judged.
Again, because this is a time of judgment. Go ahead. The living and the dead.
And that thou shouldest give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints and them that fear thy name, small and great, and shouldest destroy them which destroy the earth.
Turn over to 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians. Because the Lord is coming. And he ain't coming by himself. And we're going to see the army that he's going to bring with him. Now again, you got Russia, allies. And they come against the West. And now the Lord, the trumpet is blown, and now the Lord is coming. He had been sitting there watching all this. He's going to bring an end to it. But he ain't coming by himself. We probably asked Jesus about a king. He said, my kingdom is not of this world. But when it was time for my kingdom, me and my servants, we was fighting, but I should not be delivered. But now it's not the time for my kingdom. But this is the time for his kingdom, and he told you what it was he was going to do. But it was time for him to take over this world. He said, me and my servants, we're going to be fighting. The Lord is coming back, not by himself. He's coming with an army. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 13. But we read it was a time of judgment, a time to reward the saints. 4 and 13. Go ahead.
But I would not have you to be ignorant, brother, concerning them which are asleep.
Go ahead.
That ye saw not even as others which have no hope. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus, God bring with him. So those that believed in Jesus, that were obedient unto him, he simply said, those are the ones that's going to come up in the first resurrection. He said, I don't want you to be ignorant. I don't want you to lack understanding concerning those that are dead. Don't be overcome with grief and sorrow as those who have no hope, those who have no understanding. He said, well, we believe that Jesus died and rose again. Also those that sleep in Jesus, those that died serving him. He said, God is going to bring with him. And how is it that the Lord is going to bring them with him? Go ahead. Verse 15. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. Again, this is when the dead is going to receive their reward, when the Lord comes. He said, but this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain until the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them that are asleep. We're not going to stop them from getting their reward, because what's going to happen? Go ahead. The Lord himself shall descend from heaven with a shout, voice of the archangel, with the trump of God. That's the seventh trump. Go ahead. And the dead in Christ shall rise first. That's the first resurrection. So you got the Lord coming. Remember, the sun had become dark, and the moon didn't give out light. The stars fell from the heaven, and the sky rolled back like a scroll. And then you just had Jesus sitting there watching this. Then the seventh angel blew, and now the Lord is descending toward the earth. And then you had the raising of the dead. And what's going to happen?
Verse 17.
Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. So shall we ever be with the Lord.
We're going to find out what the Lord going to be. So you got the raising of the dead, and they're meeting the Lord in the air. We know, we can read in Zechariah that the Lord's feet is going to touch on Mount Olives. He's coming back down to this earth. And all those resurrected beings are coming with him, along with the angels. What did he say?
Wherefore comfort one another with these words.
You comfort people with the truth. But turn over to Joel. Because he had orchestrated this battle between the east and the west. And now God is getting ready to intervene with his arm. Joel 3, and pick it up at verse number 1. Because they came thinking they were going to fight one another. And they're going to turn and meet up with God. Because what man did, they found a common foe. When they saw the Lord coming, with the resurrected being and these angels, they're going to think that it is an alien invasion, and they're going to actually try and fight God. As asinine as that may sound, that's what's going to be in the mind of this crazy man. He thinks that he can fight God. 3 and verse number 1. 3 and 1. Go ahead.
For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
He said, this is when I'm going to overturn their captivity. In the last days, when he returned, not in 1948, he said, behold, in those days and in that time, will I bring again to overturn the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. What is the Lord going to do? Go ahead.
I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
They're going to just move down a little further. They was in the valley of Jezreel. Then they're going to move down a little further into the valley of Jehoshaphat because they're going to try to fight God. They were fighting amongst themselves when they see the Lord coming. Again, they're going to say, wait a minute. We got to join forces because we got a common foe. He said, I'm going to gather all nations. And why is he doing all nations? The Lord is going to destroy this man once and for all that together. He said, I'm going to gather all nations and will bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. The valley what? Jehovah will judge. He's going to decide who's going to run this world. Will it be man or will it be God? Go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. Whom they have scattered among the nations, a part of my land.
When he said, I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, the Lord is going to kill them just like he did the Egyptians. Man's got a price to pay. Oh, they got a price to pay. He said, I'm going to gather these nations down to the valley of Jehoshaphat, and I'm going to plead with them there for my people. If they understood what it is that they are doing, and who it is that they are doing to, and who am I talking about? Those who have control of God's people, who have dehumanized them, who are killing them in the streets like they are less than a dog. Have no power, none whatsoever. But there's a God that they will answer to. The Lord is going to deal with this man. He tells you that in Zechariah. He said, I'm sore displeased with the heathen, for I was a little displeased with my people, and they furthered the affliction. It got good to the rulers of our people. They've done unto us. God sent us into captivity. But he knew how we were going to be treated, but never intended for us to be treated in that way. And there's one thing, God will raise up a nation to punish his people and then turn around and punish that nation. there is a price that this country, along with the other countries that have enslaved our people, there is a price that they will pay that they are totally unaware of. And you talking about a terrible day. Because you think about it. When you don't have much and you lose it, it don't seem like you lost much. But when you almost rest the stars and you fall, that's a great fall. He said, I'm going to gather the nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. He said, I'm going to plead with them for my heritage, for my people Israel, whom they scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. See, they think that they're doing some service to God because they made alliance with those that are in the land who call themselves a Jew and who are not. Because read verse number 3 to show you that that's not Israel in the land. What he said in verse number 3. Go ahead.
And they have cast lots for my people.
And done what?
And have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine, they might drink.
He ain't said nothing what they call to be a holocaust. His people was to be sold into slavery all over this world. And they're going to remain there until the Lord comes. But drop down to verse number 9 and go ahead.
Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war.
Notice what he said. He said, you go and you proclaim this among the Gentiles. And the reason being because the Gentiles, which are the descendants of Japheth, Europeans, the white people, they're the ones that's going to be in power when the Lord makes his second coming. Noah had 3 sons, and all of them had a chance or an opportunity to rule. It began with Ham, and then Israel was a great nation. And now is the time of the Gentiles. And the Lord said, you tell them to prepare for war and to get ready. He said, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, and let them come up. And that's what they've done. They came now getting ready to fight one another. And they're going to meet God. Go ahead. What are you telling them to do?
Wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords, and your pruning hooks into spears. And the weak say, I am strong.
Put all your resources into the building up of weapons. Build your armies up. Don't worry about feeding your people. People are starving, but your army is taken care of. You can destroy mightily. You try to develop nuclear weapons and you can't feed your people. He said, but you beat your plowshares in the sword. Take all your resources and build up your armies. Verse number 11. Go ahead.
Assemble yourselves and come.
Bring all your weaponries with you. Gather all of them up and you come. Go ahead.
All ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about, that the cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord.
Go ahead.
The heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat.
But Jehovah's going to judge. Go ahead.
There will I sit to judge all the heathen round about.
Just like he judged in the days of Pharaoh. He's going to deal with man once and for all. Go ahead.
Multitude,
Verse number 13.
Ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe.
It's time to reap, and what he's reaping is none other than man. But go ahead.
Come, get you down, for the press is full. The vats overflow, for their wickedness is great.
What he's talking about is the blood that's going to be shed. He said, man killing. This is the Lord talking about the killing that he's going to do. He said, put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get ye down, for the press is full, the fats overflow. But he said their wickedness is great. Go ahead.
Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision.
What time is this?
For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Again,
it's going to be determined who's going to run this world. Will it be God or will it be man? That's what the Lord is coming back to do. Again, he ain't coming back to rapture nobody off to heaven. Verse number 15, he gave you the sign to let you know again what time this is. Go ahead.
Sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shine.
Right before it is the day of the Lord. Go ahead.
Lord also shall roar out of Zion.
The Lord is back now. He said the Lord is going to roar out of Jerusalem and do what?
And utter his voice from Jerusalem.
Go ahead.
The heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel.
Turn over to Habakkuk, the 3rd chapter. Habakkuk was given a vision concerning this. And this state is so terrible. Listen to what Habakkuk says concerning how he wants to be when the Lord comes. It shows you how terrible of a time this is. 3 and 1. What he said?
A prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet upon Shigaiah.
Because man is actually going to try and fight God. Go ahead.
O Lord, I have heard thy speech, and I was afraid.
Go ahead.
O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known and wrath. Remember mercy.
Habakkuk said, I've heard about the destruction. It was shown unto me the destruction that you're going to do unto this world. He said, I heard your speech. He said, and I was afraid. He said, oh Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. Change it up, Lord. But knowing that God is not going to repent, then he said, make it known. And he has done that repeatedly. He told us over and over what he's going to do to this world and to man because of their unwillingness to obey him. Verse number 3, go ahead.
God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran.
Go ahead.
His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise.
Drop down to verse number 6, because he's coming to subdue man. Go ahead. What did he do?
He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations. And the everlasting mountains were scattered. Perpetual hills did bow. His wings are everlasting.
And when he talks about he stood and measured the earth, he beheld and drove asunder the nations, and the everlasting mountains of the nations, he said, were scattered. He said, and the perpetual hills of the small governments did bow. He said, his ways are everlasting. Pick it up at verse number 11 and go ahead. What time is this?
The sun and moon stood still in their habitation.
Again, this is the day of the Lord. Ain't going to happen but one time. Go ahead.
At the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear.
Go ahead.
Thou didst march through the land in indignation.
Did what?
Thou didst dress the heathen in anger.
Again, the Lord is coming back to pour out his wrath on man. He said, thou didst march through the land in indignation, in his fierce anger. He said, thou didst thrash the heathen in anger. Verse number 16. Go ahead. What did Habakkuk say?
When I heard, my belly trembled.
He said, when this was made known unto me. He said, my body trembled. Go ahead.
My lips quivered at the voice.
And what?
Rottenness entered into my bones.
He said, just a sick feeling just engulfed me. He said, when I heard what the Lord was going to do. He said, my belly trembled. He said, my lips quivered at the voice. He said, and rottenness entered into my bones. Go ahead.
And I trembled in myself that I might rest in the day of trouble.
He said, just let me be dead. That's a terrible, that has to be a terrible time for a man to see something in the vision and say, I don't even want to be here. It ain't about getting revenge on your enemies. He knew God is going to destroy mightily. He said, I trembled in myself that I might rest in the day of trouble. When the Lord does what?
When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his truth.
He ain't talking about Russian allies, his allies. He's talking about when he comes upon this world with the resurrected being in the main, God is going to be destroyed mightily. Turn over to Isaiah, the 34th chapter. The Lord had Isaiah to write it from the perspective that has already been done. Because again, the man's going to turn around and try and fight God. Then Timothy said, to fight one another. And when the Lord descended, they turned around and say, we got an alien invasion and we're going to have to deal with it. What did the Lord have Isaiah to say? It's going to happen with this man. Go ahead.
Come near, ye nations, to hear and hearken.
This is the Lord talking. Go ahead.
People, let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it.
What does he want them to know?
For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies.
Go ahead.
He hath utterly destroyed. he hath delivered them to the slaughter.
See, this destruction of man is going to go beyond Armageddon. It's going to go from one end of this earth to the other. He said the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their arms. He's utterly destroyed them. He delivered them to the slaughter. Again, speaking as if it's already been done. Go ahead.
Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses.
Go ahead.
And the mountains shall be melted with their blood.
You know how many people have to die in order for this to take place? He said the mountains is going to be melted with their blood. Go ahead, and what time is this?
And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll.
John told us about that. I said Isaiah had wrote about it. Go ahead.
And all their hosts shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree.
Turn to Revelation, the 19th chapter. Because again, men had gathered themselves together outside of Jerusalem to fight one another. And now the Lord has showed up. And they're going to turn around and try to fight God. And the Lord had John to write about this battle between God and man. Revelation 19. Pick it up at verse 11. You go ahead when you get there.
And I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse.
Go ahead.
He that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
Go ahead.
His eyes was a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns.
See, like the Antichrist, he just had one crown. This is symbolized that the Lord is going to take over this world by force. He said, I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. Like he told Pilate when it was time for his kingdom, him and his servants going to be fighting. He said his eyes were a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but he himself. Go ahead.
And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God.
When he said his vesture was dipped in blood, it just symbolized all the killing that the Lord is going to do when he comes. Verse number 14, because he tells you he ain't coming by himself. Go ahead.
And the armies which were in heaven followed him upon white horses, clothed in fine linen, white and clean.
Because the Lord is coming back with these holy angels and these resurrected beings. Verse 15, go ahead.
And out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations.
And what is he going to do?
He shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God.
He ain't the lamb this time. He came and performed the role of the lamb so that all this is possible. He said because he was found worthy to open up the sea. Go ahead.
And he hath on his vesture and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords.
Go ahead.
And I saw an angel standing in the sun. And he cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves together unto the supper of the great God.
There's going to be so many people. They're not going to be able to bury them all. He's going to call the fowls of the heavens and the beasts of the field come and the feast on them. He said, I saw the angel standing in the sun and cried with a loud voice, saying, all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven, come and gather yourselves unto the supper of the great God. Go ahead.
That ye may eat the flesh of kings and the flesh of captains, the flesh of mighty men, the flesh of horses, and of them that sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, both small and great.
This is what John saw on the Lord's day. But go ahead.
And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. Again, they turned from fighting one another, and they turned and now they're going to fight with God. He said, I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together. He gathered them together at Armageddon and Megiddo. And then they turned to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. Verse number 20. What is the Lord going to do with this religious people? And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles miracles before him.
That was the leader of the EU and his false religious leader. Both of them was taken, which he did what?
With which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worshipped his image.
So what did the Lord do to them?
These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone.
He threw them straight into the fire. Verse 21. And then he ain't done it. Because this is beyond Armageddon. Go ahead.
And the remnant was slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceeded out of his mouth. All the fowls were filled with their flesh.
Turn over to Jeremiah, the 25th chapter. Because he said, I'm sorry, Revelation 14. Thank you. Revelation 14. Because he said he treaded the winepress of the fierce and the wrath of Almighty God. We're going to see what that meant. Because he said his vesture was dipped in blood. How somebody come up with a rapture and have somebody believe in that foolishness is beyond me. All over this book, the Lord is talking about the destruction that's going to come upon this world. How man thinks that he's going to get away. There's a price to be paid. There's always a price to be paid. Because sentence against the evil work is not executed speedily, it is fully set in the heart of man to do evil. They're not getting away with nothing. Killed the young man, shot him down like a dog, and then asked to be put in protective custody. You got a weapon against an unarmed person and you strong a boy. They can protect him, but who's going to protect him from God? Revelation 14. Pick it up at 14. Go ahead when you get there.
And I looked and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like unto the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle.
Again, this is what they refer to as the grim reaper, and this depicts death. Go ahead.
And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud. Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time has come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. And what is being reaped is none other than man. Because remember, he said that the mountains was going to be red with their blood. Verse 16, go ahead. And he that sat on the cloud thrust in.
The mountain was going to flow with their blood. But go ahead.
And he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped.
Go ahead.
And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. Another angel came out from the altar, which had power over fire and power with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle.
What did he tell him to do?
Saying, thrust in thy sharp sickle, gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe.
Because their iniquity has come to a full. But go ahead.
And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was tried without the city.
Go ahead.
Blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horses' bridles, but by the space of 1,600 furlongs.
You talk about the blood of man. It's turned into a river of blood. You realize how much killing that has to take place in order for that to occur. Now turn to Jeremiah, the 25th chapter. Because John said that the remnant was killed by the Lord. And the Lord had Jeremiah to tell us that was going to take place. And who's doing all this killing is none other than Jesus. And this ain't about sensationalism and anything else. This is about what's in the book. But then again, I guess men don't want to teach this. Men don't want to deal with this. But that's not how you overcome this, by acting like the ostrich. The ostrich see the lion and stick his head into the sand and just expose all his backside Like the lion is going to say, oh, the ostrich, he had, I ain't going to bother him. No. You might not hear the ostrich yell with his head in that ground, but he's going to feel the full effect when that lion biting him in behind. That's just what's going to happen to man when the Lord comes. 25. All that praise dancing, all that foolishness, all dancing on the tide money, all that craziness, all gonna cease. I bet everybody take off the black face then when they see the Lord. How many of you think gonna be out there swaying and moving to the praise dancing when they see the Lord, talking about we just want to have a good time, or how I love the Lord? Okay, 25 and 15. Go ahead.
But thus said the Lord God of Israel unto me, take the wine cup of this fury at my hand.
This is talking about God's instruction. He told Jeremiah, you take the wine cup of this fury at my hand and do what?
And cause all the nations to whom I send thee to drink.
You tell them what's to befall them. Go ahead.
And they shall drink and be moved and be mad because of the sword that I will send among you.
What Jeremiah took.
Then to God the cup at the Lord's hand, and made all the nations to drink, to whom the Lord had sent me.
He put it in his word. Ain't nobody read it. Don't nobody believe. But drop down to verse number 25. Who was it sent to? Go ahead.
And all the kings of Zimri, and all the kings of Elam, and all the kings of the Medes.
Go ahead.
And all the kings of the north, far and near, one with another. And all the kingdoms of the world, which are upon the face of the earth. And the king of Shishak shall drink after thee.
All the nations of the earth are going to drink of the fury of God's wrath. Go ahead.
Therefore thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord of hosts, God of Israel.
Go ahead.
Drink ye and be drunken, and spew and fall and rise no more, because of the sword which I will send among you. And it shall be, if they refuse to take the cup at thine hand to drink, then shalt thou say unto them,
what did he tell us?
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, ye shall certainly drink.
Now this again is beyond Armageddon. This is the remnant. He said, you tell men. He said, you drink and be drunken and spew and fall, and you're not going to rise no more. He said, because of the sword I'm going to send among you. And it shall be, he said, if they refuse to take the cup at thy hand to drink, if they refuse to believe, then shall thou say unto them, thus say the Lord of hosts, you're going to certainly drink. You might not believe, but it's going to come to pass. Drop down to verse number 30 and go ahead.
Therefore prophesy thou against them all these words, and say unto them,
against all the nations, you tell them, go ahead.
Lord shall roar from on high, and utter his voice from all his holy habitation.
He's coming down from his throne in heaven, descending on this earth, him and the resurrected being and the angels. He said, the Lord shall roar from on high and utter his voice from his holy habitation. He shall mightily roar upon his habitation. He shall give a shout of they that tread the grapes against all the inhabitants of the earth. Go ahead.
A noise shall come even to the ends of the earth. For the Lord hath a controversy with the nations.
And what is he going to do?
He will plead with all flesh.
And what, he going to tell you how he going to plead. What he going to do?
He will give them that are wicked to the sword, saith the Lord.
Again, he said, I'm going to plead with all flesh. And those that refuse to obey, he said, I'm going to give to the sword. Go ahead.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts. Behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth.
Go ahead.
And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even unto the other end of the earth.
I never heard such a thing when it came to the Lord. He said, the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth even until the other end of the earth. Ain't got nothing to do with no Roush. God is coming to take his. Go ahead.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, behold, evil shall go forth from nation to nation, and a great whirlwind shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. And the slain of the Lord shall be at that day from one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth.
And what?
They shall not be lamented, neither gathered nor buried. They shall be dung upon the ground.
Too many dead bodies. Turn over to Isaiah, the 18th chapter. Because John said the Lord was going to call the fowls of the air to the great supper. of God. And he had Isaiah to prophesy that. Isaiah 18. Pick it up at verse number 5. 18 and 5. What did he say?
For before the harvest, when the bud is perfect.
He said, when the harvest is ripe, he said, you thrust ye in the sickle, and you reap for the grapes. All right, go ahead.
The sour grape is ripening in the flower.
Uh-huh.
You shall both cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks.
This is the sickle and what?
Take away and
it's time to reap. Go ahead.
Cut down the branches.
Uh-huh.
They shall be left together to the fowls of the mountains, and to the beasts of the earth.
Go ahead.
The fowls shall summer upon them, and all the beasts of the earth shall winter upon them.
Lord is going to have the fowls of the air, the carnivorous birds, and the beasts of the field to cleanse the earth of all the dead beings that will be here. And as bleak as a picture as this paints, listen to what the Lord said for his servants to do. If you live in and you see this, and it ain't far, people, he said the day of the Lord hasted. It's going to come. And if you are witness to this, what does he tell us to do? Luke 21. Pick it up at verse number 25. Luke 21 and number 25. 21 and 25. Because he gave his people this for a reason. Again, for you to know what to take place, but also for you, the evidence that he is God. And as terrible at the time as this is. He said, sons, we've been endured but for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. When you see this, you know what's to follow. Luke 21 and 25. Go ahead when you get there.
And there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity. The sea and the waves were roaring.
Again, you will have a great disturbance in the heavens. And then what? Go ahead.
Men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth. The powers of the heavens shall be shaken.
So you have the great disturbance of the heavens, and then you have the day of the Lord. But go ahead.
And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory.
And what does he say?
And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up. Lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh.
Because this is when the Lord is going to overturn his people captivity. He said, when you see these things come to pass, if you bear witness to these things, he said, then you look up and you lift up your head. He said, for your redemption draweth nigh. The day of the Lord is not destruction and wrath and gloominess and darkness for his people. It's for those who refuse to obey him. Return to Isaiah, the 27th chapter, because the Lord said he looks in his angels with the sound of a trump and gathered together his elect from one end of heaven to the other. He had Isaiah to write about that. No reason should anybody be thinking that Israel went back to the land in 1948. Israel is in captivity. Well, they're going to be in captivity until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. We could have just read that if we had read a verse up from what we just got to read. Israel will be in captivity until the time when the Gentiles' reign comes to an end. The Gentiles' reign won't come to an end until the Lord returns. Isaiah 27, pick it up at verse number 12. That's when the Lord is going to overturn our captivity. And I say, yes, our captivity, because Israel is a black people that was scattered into slavery all over this world. See, people want to be us. They want to take the blessing, but they don't want to take that curse that's upon us. I read some foolishness the other night. Talk about Great Britain and the United States is Ephraim and Manasseh. I said, so when did y'all go into captivity? The only role I knew you were the captives. Or the captives. You were taken into slavery. But anyway, Isaiah 27:12. I stand on the truth. Everybody believe what they believe. And somebody told me, well, if you believe what you want to believe, I'm going to believe what I want to believe. Yeah, and I believe the fire hot. And that false God you believe in it ain't going to deliver you. 27:12. And generally, I don't talk like that. But again, you get tired of the ignorance that persists in this world. 27:12. Go ahead when you get there.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall beat off in the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt. Ye shall be gathered one by one of ye children of Israel.
What day? When the Lord comes back and destroys man down to this ground, then he's going to gather his people and take them back to the promised land. He said it's going to come to pass in that day that the Lord is going to beat off on the channel of the river unto the stream of Egypt, and you're going to be gathered one by one, O ye children of Israel. And that day didn't happen in 1948. Verse 13, go ahead.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the great trumpet shall be blown.
The seventh trump, go ahead.
They shall come which are ready to perish in the land of Assyria. The outcast in the land of Egypt, and shall worship the Lord in the holy mount at Jerusalem.
Turn over to Psalms 107 so we can know concretely where the Lord has gotten his people from. Because Israel was scattered into slavery all over the world. All through the book. The curse always culminates with Israel going into captivity. They said nothing about what they call the Holocaust, the transatlantic slave trade. That's the Holocaust. Now what happened to them was a bad thing. Then they're going to turn around and make that something as, you use that as an excuse to say that you God's chosen people. Get out of here. 107. And pick it up at verse number 1. Go ahead when you get there.
Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever.
Go ahead.
Let the redeemed of the Lord say so.
And when does your redemption come? When you see these things come to pass, you look up. You know that your redemption is nigh. He said, let the redeemed of the Lord say so. Whom he done what?
Whom he hath redeemed from the hand of the enemy.
Again, he's talking as if he's already done that, because he came and paid the price. When he came the first time, he set in motion for all the things that were left to be done. All certainly they'll come to pass. He said, let the redeemed of the Lord say so, whom he hath redeemed from the hand of the enemy. Him that was too strong for us. And where did he gather them from? Go ahead.
Gather them out of the lands from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south.
From one end of this earth to the other, he gonna beat man down. He said, I'm gonna bring him. He said, I'm gonna plead with him that for my heritage sake. At the end, when Moses first went to Pharaoh, what did Pharaoh say when Moses said, God said, let his people go? He said, I know not this God. God got through with him. He said, Moses, you go. Take your children. Take everything and ask for a blessing for me. That's what's going to happen. When the Lord beat this man down, everybody going to love you. Just like they hate you with the same energy and zeal that they hated you, that's how they're going to love you. After the Lord show you, or show them who you belong to. This is it, Zechariah 149. Zechariah 149. Because you've had the great tribulation, you've had the day of the Lord. When God has established his kingdom here on this earth, John said he saw him sitting upon the throne. Now it's time for Jesus to reign. Gonna reign in headquarters out of Jerusalem. Zechariah 14. Pick it up at verse number 9. You go ahead when you get there.
And the Lord shall be king over all the earth. That day shall there be one Lord, and his name one.
All will be no more. He said the Lord's going to be king over all the earth. He's going to be headquartered in Jerusalem. He said, and in that day shall there be one Lord, and his name one. Verse number 16. Go ahead.
And it shall come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations which came against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year to worship the King,
And do what?
Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of
Are
tabernacles.
they going to observe God's holy days at that time? They're not going to be dealing with all this folly, all this foolishness. He said it's going to come to pass that everyone that is left of all the nations that the Lord didn't keep, which came against Jerusalem, even shall go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, and to keep the feast of tabernacles. Go ahead.
And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain.
He said, look, if you don't come, he said, I won't let it rain on your land. If there's no rain, there's no crops. No crops, you don't eat. And that is the day of the Lord, a time of wrath, judgment, redemption, and rain. I want to thank you for your time. Now, as we stand up and take Jerusalem, we're going to close out.
Our Father which art in heaven,
Our Father which art in heaven,
hallowed be thy name.
hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come,
Thy will be done in earth,
thy will be done in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread,
Give us this day our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation,
And lead us not into temptation,
but deliver us from evil.
but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom,
For thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
and the glory,
forever.
forever.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
For he is good.
For he is good,
For his mercy endureth forever.
for his mercy endureth forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel,
For he is good.
for he is good,
And his mercy endureth forever.
and his mercy endureth forever.
In Jesus' mighty name we pray.
In Jesus' mighty name we
The
pray.
King of kings,
The King of kings,
Lord of lords,
the Lord of lords,
the ancient of days,
the ancient of days,
our Savior,
our Savior,
our Redeemer.
and our Redeemer.
Amen.
Again, thank you for your time. As always, remind people to pray for one another. Mention at this time you want to keep Sister Margaret in your prayers because she lost her father-in-law. It's always difficult when we have to deal with situations like that. Prayer for her and the family. I'll say at this time, if anybody has any questions, we'll answer them to the best of our ability. Yes.
You said that the best redemption blood,
Yes.
and you took it somewhere.